It's you versus you. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to another episode of Master Self-Love Inside, the podcast where we explore personal development and relationships. Well, how have you all been since the last time we spoke? So today I want to talk to you about some things. I talk to people about relationships, and I have been blessed enough myself to have found a long-lasting love that has led me to marriage. As I go through my daily marriage life and talking to my friends and acquaintances about love and relationships, some people seem to be having a really hard time. And people want answers. People want to know, what did I do to find love, to hold on to love, to have a long-lasting relationship? And I will tell you that it takes work. It is not easy. I want to help people to find true love. People always ask me questions about my marriage and how we met and how do we get through difficult times and just how do we stay together. And so I want to share a little bit about that with you all because I want everybody to have love. We all deserve it. At least I believe everybody deserves love. My husband and we are not perfect at all. Our relationship is not perfect, but we love each other and we have found each other in the oddest way. We met each other when we were young. We were kids. We lived in the same neighborhood, on the same street. He lived in one block. I lived in the next block. And that is how I initially met him. But I didn't see him until 30 years later. Okay? And it was almost, I want to say, like an instant click or an instant connection. And maybe that was because we grew up together. But again, like I said, he didn't even remember me. I remembered him because I had a crush on him. Okay? So sometimes you will find love in the strangest places that you don't even think of. So as I go through my daily marriage and I listen to people talk about their relationships, their past relationships, the things that they're going through now, what I've come to understand is that there are a lot of people out here in this world that want love. God made us through love. So therefore, the world should love. We all deserve love. Don't you think? I think so. Okay, so what I've come to understand in this game of love is that it's you versus you. That's right. That's what I said. It is you versus you. Now, what do I mean by that? You versus you. We have to really understand where we come from. And what I mean by that, where we come from. And you can kind of line this up where your potential mate, where does your potential mate come from? It's you versus you. And that is the ultimate battle. Why is this eternal struggle so important? It is important because it is the only battle that you have complete control over. Now, what do I mean by it's the only battle that you have control over? We have control over ourselves. Nobody else controls us unless we allow someone else to control us. Okay? Who are you? And where do you come from? Where do you come from? Do you know who you are? Or do you know who you are? This is a must to know who you are, to even think about getting into a relationship. In order to understand someone, and in order to understand yourself, you have to understand the formative years, those childhood years, those years that help you to develop into an adult. Do you get it? Do you realize that your upbringing, your environment, and your experiences shape your identity? And it influences your choices. It influences the type of partner that you pick. Your family shapes you through their values, their communication skills, and their cultural traditions. The things that we learn at home shape us. And you must understand that not everyone had a home. Not everyone had a stable home. Not everyone had a stable upbringing. So you have to be very careful in the choices that you make for that long-term relationship. Your geographical environment in which we grew up shapes our worldwide view, cultural norms, and our access to opportunities. I'm saying that to say where you grew up affects how you see the world. It affects what you see as normal and what chances you have in this life to succeed or to just be average. What do you want? These factors continue to impact who you are and how you decide things today, even in your partners. What are you looking for? Who raised you? Who raised them? Where did you grow up? And how did you grow up? All those things affect you, and it should be something that you consider when choosing a partner. Not everybody grew up the best. Some people did. Some people grew up in two-parent homes, and some people didn't. I didn't grow up in a two-parent home. Well, it started out that way. My parents were married, and they divorced when I was very young. And my mom had to move into what they call the projects. Of course, when you're kids, you don't really know that you're living in the projects. But we grew up in the projects. And sometimes when you grow up in a environment like that, sometimes you think that you cannot have the finer things in life. You think that you can't have the good life. Because when you look around you, the things that you see, nobody that you're seeing is a superstar or living the good life. So you kind of grow up with this in the back of your mind thinking, how can I make it out of here? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, how did you grow up? Write in the comments. Tell me, how did you grow up? Did you grow up with a two-parent home, a single-parent home? And I'm not saying either one is good or bad, because it can be good. Some can be bad, but it can be good. I know plenty of people that have grown up with a single parent and they've grown up very balanced. Very balanced. I wasn't one of those that grew up very balanced because my life wasn't balanced. It was in shambles when I was a child. And our minds and brains are developing as we look around the world and the people around us. As we grow up into teenagehood, we start developing and having opinions of our own on how we want our life to be. When did you start deciding, or when did you start having an opinion of what you wanted your life to be like when you were growing up? I know that it can be tough sometimes. And sometimes picking a relationship or maintaining a relationship is not easy because of the things that we have been through in life. For some people, it's easy breezy to find that person that matches you, that understands you, that gets you. That gets you. Now, people look at my marriage and think that, oh, they're so perfect. No, we're not. Because sometimes I don't get him, and sometimes he don't get me. But we work. We've been together now for 11 years, and it's beautiful. Love is beautiful. But the first thing you have to start with is yourself. We must learn to love ourselves in order to fully love someone else. And this means just getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself. And this is what I mean by you versus you. How well do you know yourself? Are you really equipped to be in a long-lasting relationship? Are you equipped for that? I'm sure you are, and even if you aren't, you could learn. Honestly, it's like learning any skill. I think some people think that love comes so naturally, that being in a relationship should be so easy, breezy, and it's not. For several reasons that you have to get to know you. Because I think sometimes we put expectations on other people. We want other people to fulfill our lives and make us happy. But I want to tell you something. You have to make your own self happy first. You have to learn who you are. You have to do some self-reflection. Dig deep. Dig deep. Because I will tell you, throughout my life, I have heard certain things about myself that I was not willing to accept. I wasn't willing to accept. Okay, I'm going to give y'all an example. I really don't want to, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I can be a little controlling. It's not my fault. I'm Aquarius. But I think when you go through certain things in life, it kind of makes you take control of yourself, or it makes you try to control the things around you. Because for me, like, I had a rough life, so I try to control what happens to me, or I don't want to be hurt, or, you know, I want you to understand that sometimes going through failure should lead to, I want to say should lead to success, but sometimes going through failure can be such a beautiful thing, because you learn a lot when you go through failure. If you're paying attention, if you apply what you learned through that failure, apply it to your life. Say to yourself, what can I learn from this? Okay, this relationship did not work out, but what can I learn from this? And I want you to not always point the finger at the other person, because it takes two to tangle, okay? Sometimes you have stayed longer than you should have. It takes two to tangle, and you have to figure out what role you played in this relationship for its downfall. What role did you play? You've given your all. You've tried to make the other person so happy, and it still didn't work out. Well, try to make you happy. You know, it's not a selfish thing to put you first. It's not a selfish thing at all, because you have to put yourself first in order to care for those around you. That is a fact, and that is not something that I always practice. That is not something that I've always practiced. But at some point in my life, I turned that around. And sometimes I still have a problem with it. You know, everything that we go through in life, not just relationships, some things just don't come natural to us. Some things we have to practice. Some things we have to practice, and then it becomes like second nature. And I'm going to give you an example, and this is so offbeat, but I'm a hairstylist. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm a licensed cosmetologist. And what they didn't know is that when I enrolled in hair school and I was going through the theory and the classes, and you know, at some point you have to get put on the floor to actually take care of the customers that come through the door for practice. It's practice for us, but the customers that come in, they know they're coming to a school, so they know that we're not perfect. We're still learning. But one of the fears that I had was cutting hair. Oh God, I used to be so fearful of cutting hair with the shears. I'm a lot better now, but that was my fear. I didn't know how to do it, and I was fearful of it. But today, I am an expert. I am an expert at hair cutting. And I say all this to say that we have to practice. When I say practice, I don't mean be phony. I mean just practice. You have to learn who you are in order to attract that love that you're looking for. You have to do some work on yourself. If you find yourself not being able to maintain long-lasting relationships, you have to do some work on yourself. And I know just from talking to quite a few people that have trouble in maintaining relationships, attracting love. I hear men say all the time, oh, women are this, all women are like that, y'all women this, y'all just negative stuff. And women, we do the same things. All men cheat, all men this, all men that, but it's not. We have to open up the positivity, and we have to look at ourselves and see what we're attracting. I always say don't be too nice to people, because people take advantage of people that are super nice. They will walk over you like you are a rug. So I always say don't be too nice. And people think I'm mean for saying that, but it works for me, okay? I'm not gonna let you walk all over me, and I don't want you to let people walk all over you. And that is for men and for women, okay? Because sometimes we don't see the problem. And sometimes we want to point at other people as if they are the problem. But I will ask you today, because I want you to find love, because you're such a special person and you deserve love. You deserve hugs and kisses. You deserve to sit down and talk to someone that understands you, someone that gets you. Let's do some personal development. Let's look into ourselves. And don't be looking at me saying, no, sis, it ain't me. It ain't me. It ain't me. Well, sis, well, bruh, I'm telling you, it's somebody out here for you. It's somebody out here for you. And yes, we've all made mistakes. We've all chosen the wrong person. We all got dragged, kicked, stomped on our hearts. But again, I want you to find love. So today, I want you to do some self-reflection. Look in the mirror. Look in your eyes when you look in that mirror and say, I love me. I love me. And I deserve to have the best. I deserve to be treated like a queen because I am a queen. I deserve to be treated like a king because I am a king. That's what I want you to do. That is your assignment for today. Do it daily. Do it daily, because when you love yourself, you will attract love. You will. I promise you that you will attract that right person once you get right with yourself. All right? So I'm going to end this podcast, and I want to thank you again for stopping by and connecting with me. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and there's plenty more to come. So thanks again, and I will see you on the next podcast. Please like, share with your friends and family. Share with the ones that are looking for love, okay? Because we all deserve it. All right? Have a blessed day.